Gospođo ambasadorke, vi благодарам што прифативте интервју за ние. Во јули Вашингтон ќе биде домакин на самитот на НАТО, што ќе одбележи 75 годишнината на алијансата. За кои други теми треба да разговараат лидерите на НАТО?
Well, there will be many different topics discussed at the NATO summit in July, but let me tell you just a few of them, perhaps. First and foremost, it is a celebration. We want to celebrate 75 years of working hand in glove as partners across the Atlantic, as allies on a variety of shared security challenges. Secondly, we really want to spend some time talking about burden sharing and the fact that so many countries have worked so hard over the last decade to increase their defense spending. And here I really have to thank North Macedonia. This is a country that has taken some tough decisions to meet the commitment to spend 2% of GDP on its own national defense. North Macedonia is now above the threshold, above the 2% mark, and we applaud those efforts, but we applaud all of the countries that have done so. We will have a new report on burden sharing that will be out probably next week that will show that about 2/3 of the alliance now spend over 2% of GDP on defense. And that's important because it means that allies can meet their commitments across the alliance. We will also talk about Ukraine. At the summit, we expect that President Zelensky will join us in person, and the alliance will have some announcements about additional forms of assistance to Ukraine, practical political support. Perhaps you have heard us talk about a bridge to membership. We are building a bridge to membership for Ukraine. And lastly, I think we will have an announcement to make about who the next Secretary General will be. Stoltenberg has served this alliance with distinction for 10 years, and now the alliance is prepared to salute him, to celebrate his many contributions to the alliance, but also welcome a new Secretary General. We will talk about many other issues, cybersecurity, defense production, resilience, but let me leave it here just with those top issues. There's not enough time to go into all of the subjects that will be discussed at the summit.
Околу изборот на нов генерален секретар, дали кандидати се Марк Руте и Јоханис?
Correct. The alliance has been spending recent months looking at two official candidates. We had former Prime Minister Mark Rutte from the Netherlands and current President Iohannis from Romania. We have to reach a point where all 32 nations agree on the next Secretary General. We are not quite there. We are very close. And I suspect in the coming weeks, we will reach a point where all 32 allies agree on who will be the next Secretary General.
Веќе ја споменавте Украина. Северна Македонија е еден од најголемите придонесувачи по глава на жител кога станува збор за поддршката за Украина. Сепак се чини дека другите сојузници не прават доволно во овој поглед. Сега слушаме Унгарија бара да биде исклучок.
Well, first, let me start by thanking North Macedonia for all of its significant contributions to Ukrainian military commanders and Ukrainian forces. Those contributions have been absolutely critical, and we applaud everything that North Macedonia has done and continues to do for the people of Ukraine. Every member of the NATO alliance, every single member, is looking for ways, finding ways to support Ukraine. Some allies are providing important humanitarian and economic assistance. Many are providing security assistance, and even a higher number is really providing all three forms of assistance. So we, the United States, we believe that most of the countries out there are doing everything that they can for Ukraine. Obviously, we have to keep at it. We have to continue to look inward and identify either additional financial resources or actual capabilities that can be sent. But I feel the commitment here across the alliance that we must keep going, that we cannot afford to stop, because Ukraine needs our support and they need to prevail at the end of the day and push Russia out of their territory. On your question about Hungary, on that particular issue, yes, the Secretary General of NATO was in Budapest earlier today, speaking with Prime Minister Orban, and it is a situation where NATO will be creating a new activity for Ukraine, or a new mission. We are still working that out. Whatever it ends up being called, we have a situation where Hungary has decided not to participate in that activity, and that is not uncommon across the alliance. We have had many NATO missions throughout the years, throughout 75 years, and not every member of the alliance participates in every single mission or activity. So we don't find that terribly shocking. It is a practice that we've seen before, but what's important is that Hungary maintains its commitments to the alliance, it participates in other NATO missions, it maintains its commitment to spend 2% of GDP on defense, and continues to be an active participant here inside the NATO alliance.
Покрај воената одбрана, НАТО посветува значајно внимание и на кибербезбедноста и спречување на странското мешање, што е особено присутно на Балканот, имајќи предвид ситуацијата во регионот, во Босна и Херцеговина, диалогот Србија, Косово, дури и Северна Македонија, Црна Гора, па и Бугарија. Што може НАТО да направи повеќе по ова прашање?
Well, I'm glad that you raised the issue of cybersecurity specifically, because we will be rolling out a number of new policies at the summit as it's tied to cybersecurity. In 2016, the alliance declared cybersecurity as a new domain, which means that Article 5 could apply to some sort of cyber attack in the future. We're also increasingly working on space as a new domain here across the alliance. But as is the case each time the alliance takes on a new issue, we start with a common shared appreciation of the nature of the challenge. So we've spent many years talking to allies about what they're experiencing as it relates to cyber attacks, and what national policies they have in place to either deter, prevent, or address cyber attacks. After we spend some time actually assessing the problem, we then move to addressing it. And so right now we're trying to build a set of tools across the alliance that will better equip us as allies to cope with these types of attacks. And we're drawing from national expertise as well as the expertise of some of our partners in faraway places. We're talking to our friends in Japan, in South Korea, about their own national cyber strategies as well. So cyber remains a key feature of our work here inside the alliance. Watch very closely at the summit. I think you're going to see 4 or 5 new policies on cyber rolled out at the summit, and certainly North Macedonia will benefit from those policies and also bring its own expertise into the alliance.
Поранешниот американски претседател и претседателски кандидат Доналд Трамп за време на неговата кампања рече дека САД нема да застанат во одбрана на оние сојузници кои не одвојуваат доволно средства за одбрана доколку бидат нападнати. Дали таквиот потек би го прекршил основачкиот договор на НАТО?
Well, look, I can't comment on Donald Trump's perspectives on the NATO alliance. All I can assure you is that there exists across the United States deep bipartisan support for the NATO alliance. We welcome congressional delegations here on a regular basis, both from the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, and all I see in those visits is a commitment to maintain U.S. leadership in the alliance and maintain our active participation inside NATO. So I don't know what will happen going forward. I can't predict the outcome of the U.S. election, nor can I possibly predict how any candidate will act in the future. What I can assure you, though, of is that the American public and Congress both of those populations continually and consistently express a deep commitment to the NATO alliance.
Во тој контекст, во рамки на ЕУ се покрена идејата за зајакнување на заедничката европска одбрана, па дури и за создавање на европска армија. Колку тоа би довело до евентуален паралелизам со НАТО, имајќи предвид дека сите освен 4 членки на ЕУ се членки и на алијансата.
Well, the European Union has undertaken a number of really interesting and bold steps over the last 2 years to strengthen its internal defense and security policies. We applaud everything that they're doing for Ukraine. It's quite remarkable when you think about it, the amount of support that's coming from the European Union, the fact that they're providing lethal assistance to Ukraine. That is a major step forward for a body that does not have much experience doing that. But simultaneously, the EU is rolling out a number of new policies. It now has its own defense industrial strategy. It is also working to strengthen its own defense and security toolkit. Obviously, to the extent that the EU is making strides forward in the area of defense, we are in essence looking at one set of forces. For example, for a country, let's say the Netherlands, which is a member of both the EU and NATO, to the extent that the EU strengthens Dutch forces, or to the extent that NATO does so, it benefits both institutions. So we're quite comfortable with what the EU is doing. We would note, though, that NATO has worked tirelessly over many decades to maintain what is a set of NATO standards. And to the extent that the EU is building capacity, we want to make sure that the EU relies on NATO standards going forward. And we obviously want to avoid unnecessary duplication. But look, since the war in Ukraine started, the European Union and NATO have been working hand in hand on supporting our friends in Ukraine, and we expect that to continue. We certainly appreciate an EU desire to get at some of the fragmentation that exists in their defense industry, but we want them to remain open-minded about procuring equipment from non-EU member states, including the United Kingdom, the United States, Norway, and Turkey, not to mention South Korea. So I think in large part the United States applauds and salutes the efforts underway downtown in Brussels, but we will continue to engage them in a dialogue to make sure that there isn't any unnecessary duplication.
Ви благодарам.
Thank you.